we get an NFC Championship game that is a division rivalry matchup. Like, these two teams split this year. So, it's important to note that the Eagles and the Commanders, they each won one against each other over the course of the year. So, obviously that was a game where I think when the Commanders won that game, Kenny Pickett was in. So, but Jayden Daniels did have 5 touchdowns in that game. So they ended that 10-game winning streak. I don't know. I feel like there's a chance. Maybe I'm just in the moment and I want there to be a chance. But Frank, I just look at the Jayden Daniels situation. I'm like, it feels really good. The only thing that we all know, and we knew it going into this game, Washington doesn't really do a great job stopping the run, and they didn't do a great job stopping the run in this game, and they still got a big win. But taking on Saquon, where I'm not sure you're going to be able to do a great job stopping the run, that makes me a little bit. In the last game in the Washington win, Saquon had 29 carries for 150 yards. Like, it's just Saquon's going to eat. There's no doubt about that. So the question is, how do you see it?
Yeah, and it's one of these things where Washington is just so efficient on offense. I get the whole punting stat, like it gets skewed because they always go for it, right? They don't punt a lot, but they don't really punt a lot. Like, they just usually score. I mean, this is an unbelievably efficient Washington offense all year. Like I said, Jayden Daniels threw 5 touchdowns against this Philly defense. Week 16, that's not long ago. The Phillies shut down just about everybody else, but Washington got him a little bit. Jayden Daniels got him a little bit. It was impressive. But this is still a Philly team. I believe now they're 14-1 since September, counting the playoffs. It's almost impossible to pick against them at home in an NFC Championship game against this Commanders team that is still flawed. Look, I get it. Like, they're having this great season. What a story. They're going to be so much better in a year or two. Like, this is not the finished product for the Washington Commanders. And they're in an NFC Championship game. And usually those stories come to some kind of an end. You hit the wall at some point. But I'll say this, like, this game opened at, I think it was Washington plus 5.5 at BetMGM. I'll take Washington to points. They're going to keep this close. They're going to compete in this game because they got that dude at quarterback who could just carry everything on his shoulders and make a team much, much better than it should be.
I'm just looking back, and I totally forgot this. I mean, Washington in that game, also, Jayden threw 2 picks, and Washington fumbled the ball 3 times. 5 turnovers.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
I just forgot about that until you reread. I'm going with my heart. It's early on. I don't have to think yet. I could just go with my feels. I want Jayden Daniels to go to the Super Bowl because it feels like that's a great story.
What a story that would be. And they could do it. Look, when you have, again, one team can't pass the ball, really. Like, they are one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL right now. And you're going against a quarterback who's on an all-time heater for a rookie, and he could just seemingly do whatever he wants, and it makes it hard to defend them when you know it's going to be a 4-down series every time. Like, we're going 4-down-4th. Get ready. It's going to be a challenge for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll tell you that, and they're going to make some adjustments from that game where they gave up all those touchdowns to Jayden Daniels. But this is a challenge. This is a real big challenge, and yes, honestly, do I want Washington to win? Yes, because I think it would be an unbelievable story for this rookie quarterback.
Can we actually?
We've never seen anything like it.
Could we actually get a Super Bowl rematch? Like, you think about it, the Bills have lost 4 of those Super Bowls. One of those was to Washington. Can we get a Washington-Buffalo Super Bowl? Come on, Frank, give me what I need.
We can get an Eagles Chiefs rematch too from a couple years ago.
That's not as fun.
Game.
All right,
so there's a couple on the table.
That's not as nostalgic back to like 90. What was that? 92, 93, like early 90s.
91, the end of the 91 season. Yeah, Mark Rippon at the Metrodome. Yeah, that was that was a great Washington team. Goodness, this is not a great Washington team, but they have a heck of a player. And I'll tell you what. Like, again, if you would have told, go back. I'll take a little bit of a lap here. In the offseason, I was like, Commanders, watch out for the Commanders. They're a really good team. They can make the playoffs.
Damn.
In my wildest dreams, I never expected the Washington Commanders to be in the NFC Championship game. Nobody did. The most optimistic Washington fan you could find had no clue that this team was going to be in the NFC Championship game. They didn't win a playoff game since 2005. Like, all of a sudden, this kid arrives on their doorstep from LSU with his Heisman Trophy, and all of a sudden they're in the Final Four. I have friends who root for this franchise, and they're all like, is this really happening? Like, this is an unbelievable story, And they're one win away from making it an even more unbelievable story, the likes of which, again, we've really never seen in the NFL.
Which is all the more reason why when we are together covering the draft in just a few short months, there will be so much conversation about quarterback. Because the reality of it is, for 2 straight years, we've seen that you can go from being just a joke of a franchise to being a legitimate week in, year out, year in, year out, competitive playoff caliber franchise that is respected on the football field if you can simply get it right with the head coach and a quarterback. But Houston did it 2 years ago. Washington's done it now, and you just got to, like every other team right now that's looking at the hiring cycle is hoping to God that they can replicate the same thing.